We want to take a step back, realize it is not a personal failing when things fall apart. Instead, really look at it as an opportunity to reframe how you're spending your week and what your priorities are and where your time and your energy need to go. The reality is everyone drops the ball sometimes. No one really ever follows their plan 100%. Welcome to What Was I Supposed to Be Doing? Time management, prioritization, and focus for when the whole business runs from your brain. I'm Lauren Glenn. I've been in the online business space for over a decade, and I've helped everyone from small business owners to Fortune 500 companies stop reacting to their business and start running it with purpose. These days, I work with service-based entrepreneurs who are booked out, overwhelmed, and tired of always feeling behind. Together, we create time management strategies that match your brain, your energy, and the business you're actually running, not the one hustle bros say you should have. Around here, you'll get honest takes, practical strategies, and maybe a little swearing, so you can finally follow through on the stuff that matters and stop stressing over everything else. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of What Was I Supposed to Be Doing? I'm Lauren Glenn, your host, and this week we're going to be talking about what to do when your schedule goes completely off track. You had a plan, you started the week off strong, you knew what you had to get done, and you whatever scheduling tool you use, you scheduled it out for yourself, you time blocked, or you made a plan, whatever that was, and then suddenly everything has gone to shit. And you're not following your plan, you're not following your schedule, and you're trying to get back on track. You're really struggling to actually get done the things you wanted to get done. So what do we do when those things happen to us? Because it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when. You start strong with that plan, and then you have a client emergency, or suddenly you're not feeling well in the middle of the week, and you're looking at the calendar and suddenly it's Wednesday or Thursday, and you're just devolving into chaos. You don't really know which way is up or down. Your whole plan has disintegrated at this point, and you're feeling like you're behind, you're really frustrated, and you're tempted to just sort of throw everything out the window and say, I'll start over again on Monday, and this week is a wash entirely. This episode, we're going to learn how we break the pattern of feeling that way and the pattern of just throwing it all out the window, but not throwing the whole plan out the window. So first, let's talk about why do we treat a schedule catastrophe like it's our own personal failure, like we are the problem here. And we all do it, but especially women, I feel like, really feel that guilt around when your schedule falls apart. We feel like, oh, we're not good at this. We just need to be more disciplined. We didn't do it right this time, but we can do it right next time. And you assume that you just need better skills, or you assume that it's a personal problem or a personality problem, and not that life just happens. Life just happens. And instead of assuming that guilt or assuming that you are the problem, you should learn how to instead create plans that account for when those things happen, as opposed to just falling apart. We don't want to be perfect, right? We all want to be perfect, but the goal isn't to be perfect. It's actually, the goal is the ability to recover. The goal is to be able to come back from when our weeks completely fall apart and still get the things done that we want to get done, as opposed to falling into that shame spiral of feeling like we're the problem, or we're not good enough, or we shouldn't be running our own business, or we shouldn't be responsible for all of these things. Instead, we want to take a step back, realize it is not a personal failing when things fall apart. Instead, really look at it as an opportunity to reframe how you're spending your week and what your priorities are and where your time and your energy need to go. And so the reality is everyone drops the ball sometimes. No one really ever follows their plan 100%. It's why when I work with my clients, we don't create, if it's not in your personality, we don't create like minute by minute, this is what I'm going to work on and this is where my attention needs to go. We don't create those types of plans. We actually create more plans that are focused around priorities and energy and available time, as opposed to, from 10 to 11:35, I'm going to be working on this thing, and from 11:35 to 12:20, I'm going to be doing this other thing, and then from 12:20 to 1 o'clock, I'm going to have lunch. Like, that's not how we build our schedules together. Instead, we look at what do we have to get done? What are the priorities? And when is our available time to actually get it done? And we prioritize that way instead. And we create a plan that way to say, here are the top few things that I want to get done. And then we look at it and say, is it realistic? And then we look at it and say, okay, so what happens when something goes wrong? Because it's going to go wrong. Because that's the thing, right? It's reality that things are going to go wrong. And we are human. That's okay. That's understood and expected. We just have to make sure that we are planning for it. So I want you to understand that you're not behind when this happens. You're not, like I said, you're not a failure. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be running your own business. It doesn't mean that you are a terrible person or anything. You're just in that messy middle. You're just in that difficult position of having to now deal with the realities of life and running your own business. So if you're someone who feels like you get stuck in this a lot, you feel like you get stuck in your own head, you're feeling a lot of shame around when your week sort of falls apart, you don't follow your own plan, that's exactly what my roadmap helps with. My Bottleneck to Balance roadmap really helps my clients understand that they're not the problem. They are just human, and that's okay. And we sit down together and create a plan for where your time should actually be going. We look at where it's currently going, if that is the right thing for you, what your priorities actually are in your business, and then where your time should be going instead. And we create a schedule for you to follow and then a plan for you to follow when the schedule doesn't quite work out the way that you expect it to. So you can book that at the link in the description or at laurenglynn.com/balance-roadmap. And we will work together for 90 minutes and help you build out that plan for you for your schedule. Okay, so how do we actually recover when things fall apart? How do we come back from that without throwing everything out the window? So the first thing you do, or the first thing you shouldn't do really, is not replan your whole week. What I want you to do instead is look at where you're at today in this moment. I want you to ask yourself, what's still important for me to get done this week? What is still the highest priority thing? I was working with a client inside my free workshop the other day, and she was saying, her kid was sick and things just really had not gone to plan for her. And so we took a look at what was still on her plate and what she could drop, honestly, what wasn't really that important. And the thing that we came up with was posting on social media. She was doing a launch for her new program the following week. And so there were some posts that she still had to do, but she didn't have to do all the extra reels. She didn't have to do all the extra stories that she had thought she was going to do. And instead, she refocused her time on rewriting her sales page and writing an email to her list instead of doing that social media content that she had planned to do before her kid got sick and everything sort of fell apart. So she was able to reset her priorities from her current reality as opposed to the priorities that she had set for herself at the beginning of the week. One way you can do this is use a reset block. That's where you create a 30 to 60 minute block in your schedule just to regroup. You check out what's going on, you check out what you've actually completed, you really think through what's important right now and what you still need to get done and what you actually have the time and capacity for. Then you're able to have that focus moment of really thinking through it instead of just jumping into the next thing. And basically, it's the productivity version of cleaning the kitchen before you start cooking again, which I don't have a dishwasher right now, so I always have to wash the dishes before I start cooking again because I can't make a bigger mess. My kitchen is very tiny. I'm in an RV for the summer. So I literally only have like 2 feet of counter space. So if there's dirty dishes everywhere, if there's dirty dishes in the sink, not only do I not have enough hands to actually cook anything in addition to it, but I can't cook in a dirty space. So I always have to clean the kitchen before I can cook that next meal. So this is the same thing. You're sitting down, you're making a plan, you're cleaning up your schedule, and then you can continue working on rather than just jumping in and making sort of a bigger mess. And I want you to be really honest about your capacity, not what you want your expectations to be, what you want to be able to do, but what is actually realistic about what you're able to do. Don't try to cram everything you missed into the last few days of the week. Don't work extra hours, and really stress yourself out and create burnout for yourself. Really do that trade-off. You have to drop what's non-essential so that you can move forward without the guilt and be able to still accomplish the things that you have to get done, but just maybe in a simpler way, or maybe just fewer things, as opposed to trying to get everything done. Focus really on what's the most important thing. If you want to learn more about why multitasking is not the answer to this when things fall apart, go back and listen to episode 53, where I go all into why multitasking is not the answer for you. You can check that out on any of your podcast player or here on YouTube. And that will help you understand how to focus as opposed to trying to do everything at once. And if you want help actually building out your calendar and your plan from the beginning of the week so that you can respond to things that are unexpected a little bit more easily, then go back and listen to episode 54, where you can learn all about building out that plan for yourself in a more flexible way, in a more realistic way. So to wrap it up, if you've been thinking that you just need to try harder to stick to your plan, if you've been feeling a lot of guilt around when things don't go as planned and you're not able to get everything done, then I want you to take a moment, take a step back, use that reset block to really regroup and figure out what your priorities are and figure out what you can drop, what's non-essential, what you really have to get done this week, what's sort of non-negotiable. And it can't all be non-negotiable. I'm telling you right now, if it's not brain surgery, it is not life-threatening. And if you want help doing all of this, then go ahead and book your roadmap at the link in the description so that we can create a plan that actually gets you through your week without the guilt and the shame of things that you're not able to get done. We want to make sure that we're building something that bends with you and not something that just completely breaks and falls apart when your whole week goes to shit. If you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe tell a friend about it. And next week, once you're back on track, we're going to learn how you actually reclaim your time for what matters most. How do you clear that clutter and focus on that high impact work now that you've identified what it actually is? Because getting back on track is great, but what would be even better is getting ahead. So that's all that we're going to talk about next week. So make sure that you have subscribed so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye!